谢谢天下杂志的邀请，谢谢光影的介绍，各位线上的观众，大家好，我是加拿大驻台北贸易办事处的代表瑞乔丹，非常高兴今天有这个机会跟各位介绍加拿大的海外投资机会。Now, at COP26, Canada committed to achieving net zero carbon emissions by the year 2050. And the government of Canada introduced a number of programs to help business, both foreign companies in Canada and Canadian companies, to transition to zero emissions by 2050. Top of the list, a net zero accelerator program worth $8 billion to expedite decarbonization projects, scale up clean technology, and support private sector investment in clean tech projects. Also, Canada cut its corporate tax rate in half for net zero emission businesses. We also introduced a $1.5 billion Clean Fuels Fund to support investments in hydrogen energy, biomass, and carbon capture, utilization, and storage technologies. Canada also has a hydrogen strategy, and I'll get to that in a minute with a few more details. Canada also brought in a mines to mobility strategy, and this was for the electric vehicle battery supply chain. Now, an example of a foreign investor that has benefited from Canadian government support is Dow Chemical. So on the next slide, you can see at the top there the chairman's quote, crediting the Canadian government's support for making this project possible. What you're looking at is what will soon be the world's very first net zero carbon emissions ethylene plant located in Alberta, Canada. There are many other net zero industries that are also benefiting from this government support in Canada. And here are just a few examples. At the top right, you'll see Ford. Their $1.8 billion investment in electric vehicles was supported by a $295 million contribution from Canada's Strategic Investment Fund. Below that, a name you may not have heard about a lot in the recent future, but BlackBerry. BlackBerry's QNX autonomous driving technology also received $40 million from the Canadian government. And there are many, many more examples. Shifting gears, let's take a quick look at Canada's energy mix. Canada currently is the second largest producer of hydroelectricity in the world. Nearly 70% of energy in Canada comes from water. And in fact, we have two provinces of Manitoba and Quebec, where that percentage reaches 95%. Canada is also the world's 9th largest producer of wind energy. And that's the third item on the list there. But you can see just above it that biomass accounts for an even larger share than wind energy. Biomass is also a well-developed technology in Canada. Now, wind power, just a quick note on wind power. Wind power has been the fastest growing source of energy in Canada over the last 5 years. And just to note, many of the newest developments are in Western Canada, in the provinces of Alberta and British Columbia. Two examples here. Enel Green Energy investing $210 million in Alberta, and even IKEA is in this business as well. Their project will supply nearly 26,000 households with the energy they need. I mentioned Canada has a hydrogen strategy. Canada has big plans for hydrogen, which I know is also of interest here in Taiwan. And it's all that green energy, that hydropower in Canada, which is the key for producing green hydrogen in the future. So in Canada, we have a clear strategy through to the year 2050, when we aim to be among the world's top 3 green hydrogen producers, with, I should say, facilities in the western part of Canada that can ship hydrogen to Asia. The plan aims to have more than 5 million hydrogen fuel cell vehicles on the road by 2050, create 350,000 green jobs, and spur investments and strategic partnerships across the country and internationally, and I hope with Taiwan as well. Already, there are more than 100 hydrogen fuel cell and hydrogen tech companies in Canada. In fact, I can tell you that more than half of the world's fuel cell electric buses are today powered by Canadian technology. One example, Daimler from Germany and Volvo from Sweden recently announced just over a year ago, a new joint venture in Canada for large-scale production of hydrogen fuel cells for heavy-duty vehicles. In fact, today, there's an entire hydrogen technology ecosystem present in Canada, from education to production, transportation of hydrogen, various applications, and R&D as well. What you're looking at now, is just a quick snapshot of that ecosystem in Canada. Canadian leading fuel cells companies like Ballard, for instance, PowerTech Lab, Greenlight, CSA, they all have close partnerships and cooperation with Taiwan in areas such as stationary fuel cell applications, backup power, and various mobile solutions. Now, there is quite a bit of exciting cooperation between Canada and Taiwan at the moment, and I certainly hope that this presentation and discussion will lead to even more. But I wanted to note that very recently there has been an MOU signed between the Canadian Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Association and Taiwan Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Partnership. There are many examples of Taiwanese green investments in Canada, including by TECO and LCY. And below that, you'll note that there are some Canadian companies, Northland Power and CDPQ, a pension fund, several $1 billion this year alone in Taiwan's offshore wind power developments. Now, pictured here are Canada's Minister of International Trade, Mary Ng, and Taiwan's Minister without Portfolio, John Dung, who announced very recently that Canada and Taiwan were negotiating a foreign investment protection arrangement. And when finished, that agreement should promote more two-way investment between Canada and Taiwan. But not only that, Canada and Taiwan have also just kicked off a hydrogen dialogue. We also agreed in December to jointly fund a study on supply chain opportunities with an initial focus on electric vehicles. So as you can see, there are many, many opportunities for industry to get involved. Now, I just wanted to take a moment to say that Canada is a great place for Taiwanese companies to invest. We truly welcome Taiwanese companies to come to Canada. Canada is, of course, an integrated part of the North American market, with more than $2.5 billion worth of trade crossing the Canada-US border every day. Now, the CUSMA, or the Canada-US-Mexico Agreement, that's NAFTA 2.0, gives firms in Canada, located in Canada, tariff-free access to the US. But not only that, Canada has free trade agreements covering 51 countries, equivalent to 2/3 of global GDP. We're in fact the only nation in the G7 that has free trade agreements with all the rest of the other members. Other free trade agreements that Canada is a part of include the CPTPP, and we have free trade with the European Union. We just launched, in fact, free trade negotiations with ASEAN countries as well. So Canada is a very, very open place, open to immigrants, skilled foreign talent and students, and according to KPMG, cheaper for doing business than the US as well. So just to wrap up, we have a full team to help you explore trade, technology, partnerships, and investment. So please do feel free to contact us if you'd like to explore business opportunities in or with Canada. A pleasure to talk to you all today. Merci beaucoup. 谢谢大家.